Hey everybody, I just wanted to start doing something from time to time, share my time with you. I like to read, um, and sometimes I get these devotionals that help me, and I just figured that I could start sharing them with you. The devotional that I'm reading today is All Things Are Possible to Him Who Believes. And this is just a book that I bought at the thrift store. And it's daily devotionals. And I just felt in my heart a leading to share this with you today. Let you partake of my daily reading of the devotionals and stuff. So if you're there and you have your Bible and you want to go to Mark 9:23, like I said, the title is All Things Are Possible to Him Who Believes, and how we need to stand in faith, when things get crazy around us. And I'm speaking to myself too, because when you wake up sometimes in the morning and you pray for God to give you a good day and use you for some kind of purpose, that would help somebody or lead somebody to Him or comfort somebody or be some kind of light. You may not feel good physically when you get up, and sometimes you go through trials. Believe me, if you followed our channel and if you followed my times in the hospital, then you know that some days aren't easy. We all go through trials. One minute you may see me talking about how good God is, and the next minute you might see me asking for prayer, I'm in pain, and so on. Like right now, I've been working trying to get fluid down and had got some of it off last week, and some of it got started in my ankle and the leg that I fell and fractured. And so ever since that happened, it's been really hard to go through everything normal. Everybody goes through some kind of pain, whether it's physical, mental, financial. It's just a matter of how we handle it that's important. And so most of the time when I'm reading, I like to learn, glean from it, and try to educate myself more on faith, because sometimes it will be that you just really have that mustard seed faith. You may not even feel like you have it, because you're just at the bottom and you don't know how you're going to come out. And believe me, sometimes when I'm in the hospital going through like what I had with the infection and then the allergic reaction, and I'm still, I don't know if you can see, peeling, which is something that I do when I go on prednisone. And normally it goes away, just like blood sugar. But this time it has prolonged itself. I don't know if it's because of the psoriasis. They know that my medicine is not helping the way it used to. And I'm relying upon God to take care of me and keep me from having to go back in the hospital. Now the good news is, my testimony is my blood sugar is coming down. I still check it, mostly at night, because nighttime is when it really is the most. And my husband can tell you, he fixed something for me when I got up. This thing with sausage in it, and I haven't eaten it all yet. Since 2017, my body hasn't been right. I take on a lot of fluid that I can't get off, and fight to try to get it down. And sometimes I get it down some, and then sometimes I get it down a lot. And then it comes back on me. So therefore, it makes it difficult. And it's not easy. But as far as appetite goes, unless you're on the prednisone, you're not going to feel a hunger pain. Naturally, I can feel hungry, like when you wake up in the morning and you are hungry because you know it's time to eat. Your body says it's breakfast or lunch or something. But even though I can feel that, my body rejects it. If I force myself to eat or try to force myself to eat, I'll start gagging. So I'll sit there and I'll try to take small bites for the sake of the medicine that I'm taking. Because most of it tells me I have to eat when I take it. So therefore, it's like I'm forcing myself. So I really don't know how in the world my sugar could have got so crazy. But it is trying to come down now. It's better than it was. I'm not a full-fledged diabetic. The only time that happens to me is when I go on prednisone. If there's an allergic reaction, they have to put me on that to reverse it. And they start you on the prednisone in the hospital and start giving you insulin. And, because as you're taking that prednisone, it goes up. Well, this time I was on it, I think, somewhere around 3 weeks. Because I think it was, let me see, the first week when you come home, you're taking 2 tablets in the morning, 2 tablets at night for 5 days straight. Then the next week, you're going 1 tablet in the morning, 1 tablet at night. And then the next week, you cut it down to a half a tablet in the morning, half a tablet at night, all the way down till they get gone. And so I was on it longer this time, which may be the reason that my body is still peeling. Just trying to figure it out. Maybe why that my blood sugar was having trouble leveling back out, because my body, goes through these different cycles, so to speak. And we have to watch me for allergic reactions. I do have an EpiPen. I have to take Benadryl. The reason that I have to live on the Benadryl is it's the only thing that slows down the progression when I may eat something or say I get stung by a bee or I get allergic to something. It'll help. But then there may be times on occasion, like in the hospital, when that doctor gave me what I was allergic to because I couldn't speak for myself and explain in what he wanted to get as terms as why is that on your allergy list? And I didn't know. I couldn't remember. I did figure it out later, when the other doctors found out that it was my rheumatologist that found out about the allergic reaction. That's how it ended up on my list. So the way that I see it, you really shouldn't give nobody something. If it's on their allergy list, there's a reason for it. I was in a lot of pain. So with my husband not being there at that moment, he did come in later that day, but he wasn't there at that moment. I was trying to give him time to rest when he would come home at night, and I didn't want to wake him, so therefore I didn't know that he needed to be there to help, and I just didn't really want to wake him up early. So if he had been there, then, he would have been able to give more answers than I could at that moment, because the pain was just very intense. I do this and say these things just to kind of let you know where I am, where I stand, because I want you to see my strength too. Sometimes I talk to the Lord, and it's amazing how clear His voice is. Like, why does these things happen? Why me? Why do I carry this limp? Why did I not get fully back to normal? Why can't I be healed in an instantaneous miracle like some people are? And Dylan, knowing that through my sickness, somebody else can learn to fight, and I want to use my testimony. I want to use the things that happen to me to help others. And I'm a Steven Johnson syndrome survivor. I could have died from it. Almost did. Had several close calls. Thank God the Lord has really took care of me. It could have been worse. But 2017 was the worst. And then the second time in 2021 or 22, somewhere around there, when there was this other allergic reaction to clindamycin, it almost, I had went in the burn unit and had a bad experience there. I won't go into detail of that, because if you want to hear it, you'd have to actually go to the videos where I would talk about it. And that was only after I came home and composed myself and got to where I could talk again, because I would come home in such bad shape, that Ray didn't even know what was going on. And after he had heard what happened, he got pretty upset about it, because he is very protective of me, and I can't thank him enough for what he does. Physically, he takes medication too for things that, he went to the doctor for one thing to get something checked out and found some other issues and had to be put on meds there. So some days aren't easy as others, and some days are trials. And I say that because we don't have to let those trials push us away from God. We don't have to let our pain blind us, And when I was in the hospital, I was so upset and hurt and angry at God, because I was like, I spent a whole week at home praying and believing God to heal me. And instead of getting better, I was getting worse, and I ended up in the hospital. So it's like my mind was questioning, why am I here? I really did believe He could heal me at home. I believed it until the point I didn't think I'd have to go to the hospital. And then when things got so bad and it got worse, and I had no choice, I did what I had to do, I hate going to the hospital. I hate ambulance rides. I hate the pain that you endure, the sleeplessness. When you're in the hospital, it's harder to get rest. And sometimes you're waking up like 1 and 2 in the night, not getting to sleep anymore. And you're up all day long. And I was to the point that there was one visit, Ray came in, and I had the CPAP off for the night. And I would, through the day I won't wear it, and I was having such an issue going to sleep because I kept having that funny breathing thing that I do. So I was so tired that I just put the CPAP back on and I went back to sleep, and I slept. And when I woke up, Ray wasn't there. He didn't want to wake me. Well, I began to cry because I had missed the whole day with him. And it just really hurt, because I was used to my husband being at the hospital with me. And if you have had your husband and your wife by your side in the hospital the whole time you're there, then you know what I'm talking about when there's occasions where they can't. And because my dog is very protective of me, she won't let nobody else touch her. And sometimes it gets overbearing. So because I can't get, people would offer to babysit. I can't do that because she won't let nobody babysit her. So therefore I send him home at night to take care of my dog and get on the video, let me talk to her. And she has a rough time too. She gets these treats and she sits in my lap and she eats her treats. And she's formed that habit of falling asleep in my lap, eating her treats in my lap, protecting me. She won't let nobody close to me. And anyway, the poor thing, he told me she wouldn't eat her treat because I wasn't here. Thank God she would still eat, but it was just she didn't want to have that treat without Mama at home. And I missed her too. When your pets become like family, it's really hard. And I got her because I went through a very depressing time, because in 2017 I had to give up a dog I had for years because I couldn't get up my steps where I lived and had to move. And then when I moved into that apartment that they wouldn't let me have her at, my husband found dog food in a cabinet from a previous renter. And what had happened is they decided that the next time they rented, they just weren't going to allow pets. Yet my neighbor just next door to me, connected to my same apartment, connected wall to wall, had a cat. But my good dog, who never barked unless you played with her and had her barking, who went outside to go to the bathroom, good dog. I mean, she didn't mess up carpets. She was very clean when she ate. She wasn't a bad dog. She didn't tear furniture up or nothing. Yet I had to give her up. Because I had to give her up, she got killed. She got out from the house where the people that I'd gave her to, and she got hit by a car. So I was angry for a while and depressed and crying, and I tried to do without a pet. But it got to the point that my doctor said she'd sign something to where I wouldn't have to pay a fee, because if you have a medical reason, and I did, she's my social, my comfort animal, I guess what you'd call it. She helps with anxiety and like when I'm going through things. Ray helps me a lot. His prayers, everything that he does for me. But she helps too. And anyway, I'm thankful, to have them in my life, to have them do what they do, the comfort that they give me, just like the Lord comforts me. And back to the part in the hospital where I was so angry. I had Sun Life Broadcasting on, and, well, when one of the doctors wouldn't come in there and cut it off, I was trying to minister myself. And I was telling Ray, I said, when I get home, I'm probably going to need you to preach to me a little bit, minister to me, help me get through this situation of my anger and discomfort as to why I couldn't understand. And I just began to say, Lord, use me, that I don't know why I'm here, but use it somehow to help somebody. And there was this occasion where a nurse would come in and watch the TV, and then you'd never know if God was touching them in some way. You never really know why you're there, who you're going to minister to. And there was this one occasion where it's like you have an open vision, and Jesus was sitting there, and he had this look on his face, this, just the way that I would imagine him looking at me. And he said, you're not, you don't hate me, you're just hurt, I'm having to paraphrase it right now, but it was the way he said it, you don't hate me, you're just in a lot of pain right now. And even then he knew I still loved him. Even then he knew that even in my darkest hour, that my heart still held on, even though it was, when you get so close to God, even when you don't understand things, you still have that little bit of mustard seed. That's how you hold on. And there was this occasion where the nurses came in the room and they were going to bathe me, and they sent Ray out. And I thanked them, because I didn't want him to be there during the time I was screaming, because it was very painful at that point. Ray knows what I go through when he helps me, when he doctors me and stuff. When things happen, he knows what I go through. He knows that I scream when I hurt. But still, it was just really, I was glad he didn't have to be there during the time I was screaming. And I would tell him thank you for the help they would give to me, and that to understand that I knew they were helping me, that I knew they were there to do their job, and that I knew they weren't hurting me on purpose, because they were just trying to help heal my sores. And I knew they were doing what they were supposed to do. And it's not their fault I was hurting, They were just taking care of me. And that was the good part of it, which is more than I can say about my bad experience at that other place, that last time at that other hospital. When you're being treated good. And I was always grateful. There was this thing that happened on the last day where I was kind of floated. I was on a bed that was very, very, very uncomfortable. One of those that they plug it up and it kind of blows up, and then you feel the vibration. It would sort of be like a wave back and forth, but it would still hurt. It was hard. And this nurse comes in this day that I'm going home, and she's done bathed me and done got me cleaned up and everything, and she sort of floated me like I felt like I was sitting on clouds. First day I had ever been able to sit up to eat in comfort without pain, because I was hurting everywhere. But she put pillows under me everywhere, to the point that I could not feel any more pain. I was floating on these pillows, and there was a pillow just everywhere, and I was very comfortable at that time, and I could talk a little more. And anyway, found out I was going home, and Ray already knew. He had already had my clothes in the car. He was on his way to church, and he was going to come get me after church. And I was excited because I thought I was going to get to go home, do night service. But honestly, he really thought that it was in my best interest to take it slow, not push myself too hard, because I had been in the bed for the whole week. They could not get me up because when physical therapy would come in, they said they couldn't put the bed down far enough to get me out without being afraid that I would fall and break something. So they just couldn't try. And the hospital people, whoever's in charge of changing your beds out to make something lower for you, they didn't do nothing. And physical therapy tried. I love physical therapy. I love it when they come in the hospital and they're trying to help you keep your balance, sit you up. The only thing they didn't get to do was actually get me out of bed. So when they found out that I was going home, they said it was just going to be like an entourage. I'm going to have to just sleep out of bed and stand out on faith, I guess. And me and Ray had the funniest time. They had let the air out of the bed, and she had went out of the room, and we were waiting on it to get down to where I was going to get out. Then I decided I was going to sit on the edge of the bed, and when I got ready to get up, to get back in the chair to get ready, me and Ray danced our way around, you might say, because he put his arms around me, and we kind of walked and did a waltz trying to turn me around and sit me down. It was so funny. And then the nurse was just amazed at how I came out, and your legs feel like butter, and you don't really walking that I can do. You know what I mean? And it's very small. Sometimes I'm not obedient, though. Ray will tell me, be careful and don't follow him if I have my walker. But sometimes when I'm at church, between the pew and the piano, when I'm trying to get up there to help, I will try to walk without that walker. I just get so tired of it. I get tired of riding in a buggy. I wish I could walk like I used to. but I'm okay. I'm okay with it. And I don't blame God. I'm thankful to still have my legs while little I'm able to use them. And I just don't want to give up. There are times when I use a wheelchair to get up front at the church if I feel that it's deemed necessary. Then there's times when I may just sit at the back of the church near the bathroom. Very lonely, of course. I'm used to being up front where the action is, and where I can be fed and focus. And sometimes I will be so amazed at scripture when the preacher's preaching, and I will see something that leaps off the page like this week. And I will reach over and I'll show it to Ray, and then I'll read his Bible and compare it to what I'm seeing in my little Bible in my phone, because he's got his Bible, and I have a Bible too, but I like to mark my scriptures that I read in my Bible app, so I carry it with me to do that. And when I see something, I'll show it to Ray, and I'll be like, look, and then I'll bookmark it. And then I'll look over sometimes at his Bible and compare the words and make sure that ours is the same. And it's just, like I'm intaking, because I'm trying to film the service, trying to get everything done, looking up, making sure it's still recording. Something happened to landscape mode in Facebook. If anybody understands what happened, let me know. Because every time I turn it the way that my phone's turned now, going Facebook Live, it says it doesn't support landscape mode anymore. And if you turn the phone upright, you can't get everybody in the picture, especially when there's a singing and you've got this group singing on the stage. You can't get everybody all at once. So for a long time now, we had been doing landscape mode. Well, Sunday morning, we had an issue with some equipment. Excuse me, y'all. And we, it's something to do with not being able to do the CDs and stuff. And at that point, I had left my disc in the Bible. I was just trying to get up there to do the piano, and I decided I wasn't going to sing, being that I wasn't, I forgot my disc. And so I was hurting, sitting there, and I didn't get up because the walker wasn't next to me. If it had been next to me, I probably went on and sat down. But they wanted to go ahead and get my CD out and test it to see what was going on, and it played. So I went ahead and sang. And then I finally got to go sit down. And then that night, I gave it a rest. Well, I went in there and I was going to edit the silent part where they had the issue, and I was just going to go straight over to where it was pretty close to the message, and the edit went wrong. I don't know how to do stuff like that. So, filming a service, coming home to upload it, yet I wanted to cut out the silent part because there was a long silence in there where they were having technical difficulties, and I didn't want to leave that in there fouled up. And so I didn't get to upload the morning service. But my husband preached that Sunday night, so I checked it. Everything was on the up and up, and I uploaded it, not that night. Sometimes it takes me a day or two to get my internet fast enough. I catch it when the internet's a little faster and not cutting off so much, and then I'll upload it. So therefore, the church services are not going live anymore. They're going in when I can get them in. And then here I am now doing mine, and I also shared the message on our End Time Harvest page here, which is where you'll see this video when I upload it. I know I'm supposed to be reading the devotional, but I just wanted to talk with all my friends and family. I just felt the need to hopefully encourage you through, maybe you'll see what I've been through and kind of see, well, I'm still here. And with time running out as much as it is, before I do the devotional, I also want to share another dream that I had a long while back. I'm hoping somebody will be able to help me figure it out. I do have some friends. Number one, I've had dreams of seeing floods. where me and Ray would be seeing floods of water and waves coming up overhead, but they wouldn't touch us. So you could feel the water to hit your feet, but it wouldn't go as far. And then you'd look this way and you could see the flood waters just kind of full and sort of like you're in Thunder River. Anyway, it wouldn't harm us, but you could still feel it like you were in it and see it. Anyway, then there was a stream a long time ago where I seen people in a room gathering together, and all I knew was there was something happening where people were just gathering. I seen some church people coming together in this one place, and let's see, how can I describe it? It's been so long. Anyway, in the middle of all this chaos, I heard the word Ramadan. Well, I didn't even know what that word was, but that's how I heard it. So I went to a pastor and I said, I had this dream, and I began to tell about how I'd seen church people gathering into this one place, and it must have been something important going on, big church service or something. But then all of a sudden I heard that word, and I told him what I'd heard, and I said, what is that? I didn't have means to actually know to look it up anywhere, or what did it mean. And they told me that it was some kind of a, let's say, the Muslim celebrations or something. I don't know. Maybe getting it wrong. It's maybe not being 100% right. And now I hear that word a lot lately when I'm watching YouTube videos, especially with this eclipse that's supposed to happen this year. They're pinpointing a lot of things, and then that name comes up about the Temple Mount and stuff like that. And that word comes up. But see, I didn't even know what that word was back then. And so with the dreams of waves, and with the dreams of rapture, and with the dreams of unity, and sometimes dreams of the moon, and gathering together things. I'm hoping that I can remember dreams a lot better now, and maybe in a way that maybe I can share them with you. All I know right now is we're running out of time, and my heart says, do what you can. And now that videos reach all around the world, well, almost all around the world and stuff, I never know who I may be reaching out to. So that's why I decided to take this time to, let me get a sip. Thank you. You're very patient with me. I don't usually talk this much on here, but I just want to thank you all for being our friends, for being our family. Pray for our lost loved ones and friends, because Jesus is coming soon, and we know that. And we're on the cusp of the sound of the trumpet. And I know we don't know when, but he said we would kind of know the season, so to speak. And I just feel like it's very close, You get that every year things change. And I just found out the weird names of the cities where the eclipse is going to go over, and I thought that was pretty strange. But God said he would speak to us with signs and stuff, and I just really try to take in everything that he speaks. And without further ado, if you still have your Bible and you haven't given up on me reading Mark chapter 9, verse 23. Jesus said unto him, If thou canst believe, All things are possible to him that believeth. And that is true. And with the devotional, like I said, this is not something I wrote. This is just in a devotional book, and I want to share it with you. One day, a distraught father came to Jesus and said, "My son frequently falls into the fire and the water. I brought him to your disciples, and they were not able to cure him." Matthew 17:15 and 16. I don't know if it's King James, New King James, or I think it says it was the New King James version of that. I read the King James version out of my phone app. Notice that he never said, maybe my son inherited this problem from me, or perhaps if I had raised him differently. No, he dumped the responsibility on the disciples who were themselves in training. Whenever we're in trouble, we like to blame the pastor, the church, our maid, our boss, our family, our looks, our social status, and find some other excuse. We're unable or unwilling to admit that we're stuck our own hand in the fire, or almost drowned by jumping in head first when we couldn't swim. After Jesus healed the boy, his disciples asked him, "Why can't we do the things you do?" And if you want to go in there and study Matthew 17 and 19, that's like asking, why isn't my marriage working? Or how come I'm still in debt? Or why isn't my life going as planned? Jesus replied, "Because your faith is too small." Matthew 17:20. Sometimes you just need the kind of faith that makes you seem a little weird, the kind that doesn't need other people's approval and doesn't care whether or not you fit in. That's the kind of faith that made Noah say, "Even though there has never been rain and nobody in my generation believes, I'm still going to do what God said." As a result, he came out on top. Paul writes, having done all to stand, Ephesians 6:13. Stand on what? Stand on what God has told you in his word, because ultimately it's the thing that will work. We have to trust and believe what the Lord speaks, and know that no matter what's going on in the world around us, no matter who's in the White House, who's in the government, ultimately in the end we win. He knows what's going to happen, and he's in control. And my husband's message this week was about pointing fingers, and we're all guilty about that. And you see people and you're like, well, why are they there? Why aren't they at church? And you have to kind of, and you just kind of, you're like, you don't really understand what somebody's going through. They'll be doing one thing and you'll be doing another, and you wonder why they're doing it the way they are. And you're pointing fingers at people and you don't completely understand their circumstance, And my husband began to tell this story about a homeless man. Just imagine that you come across a homeless man and he's in need of something. Well, take it to heart. You begin to think, well, no, he's out there because he caused himself to get put there. It's his fault. You don't know why. You don't know what happened to him. So you're not supposed to judge him. Only God knows his circumstances. And you begin to point fingers. Well, you get down the road and you have a wreck. You lose everything. Your car, your home. You're at bottom and you end up on the street. Just like that homeless man. And that very same homeless man comes up to you. Gives you his last meal. You didn't help him. You just pointed fingers and judged him and didn't think about what may have led him to where he was. Yet in your time of need, he was there for you with his last meal. Sometimes we go through things that we can't talk about. And sometimes we can't give comfort in words. And we have helped a lot of people, and not to boast. I don't want to boast about anything we do. But I'm using this as a testimony in itself of what it's like to go through it. Helping people when they lose their home by fire, tornado, whatever it may be. And then you go through something like that too. And you become homeless. And you have to start over. And we've experienced that. And believe me, it can hurt. It can tear you apart. There's been times when we didn't have money, to pinch. And I had a relative who would minister to me. I had friends who would minister to me to get me through it because we didn't know where our next meal would come from. And I'm not saying that it's easy now, because we took a $300 loss in food stamps each month, and that was a chunk. And I'm not saying it's easy, but God is supplying. He's doing everything He can to make sure that we have something, It's hard to do, because protein shakes that I have to drink are very expensive. After you get through paying your bills, you have the medical bills on you that you have to pay to go see the doctor. Now, there's 2 of us going to the doctor, and Medicaid doesn't cover all my meds. It doesn't cover, and he doesn't have insurance, so he has to pay for everything, visits and everything. So everything we pay on his, and we still owe. There's a bill that we haven't been able to pay on yet, and we want to pay on it, but he's fixing to have to go see his doctor again, so we're going to have to try to come up with money to do that. And then every time I turn around, there's a medication needing refilled. And I'm not just saying his, I'm saying mine too. So we dish out a lot of my SSI, and so sometimes it's not easy, especially with that drop in food stamps. And if it weren't for the small things that God is doing right now to get us through maybe the day-by-day thing, then we wouldn't be able to kind of rearrange around all this loss. And again, I'm not trying to make you feel sorry for. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Pray for us. I'm going to say it like all the YouTubers do, pray for us. Prayer is the greatest thing. When you pray, God moves. And sometimes when you're going through circumstances, it's hard to pray. I don't have a money tree. My husband is fighting for to get disability. They're still going through stuff. He is trying. We don't know how it's going to turn out, but we're praying for approval, because if he can get approved, then he may be able to get on Medicaid, and some of his medicines and co-pays will go away. But it's just taking a lot out. So right now, we are under a financial burden, but God, He takes care of us. He takes care of His children. He is not going to let us go through it alone. We, stress the word through. He didn't say it was going to be easy. He did not say it was going to be a bed of roses. But we're doing the best we can from our end. And He's taking care of us. And I'm hoping that helps you too. Because if you're out there and, I can use this other testimony. During this time, a long while back, we had a landlord that he knew when our checks would come in, so he would actually make us go ahead and write him a check on a Monday, and he would hold it till Friday because he wanted that rent paid regardless. He just wanted the check, even though he couldn't cash it. He just wanted us to pay him. Well, one of the neighbors went with him to town one day, and they were there when he said he was going to cash it on purpose. He knew it went in there, but he's going to cash it, and then it caused an overdraft, which caused everything to overdraft. And anyway, we had to, there was groceries coming to our door, gas being put in our vehicle for him to go to work. Because every check that he did make at that time during that, I think it took us a couple of months to stabilize. We would go and try to fix where checks went in, tell them why it happened, explain to them, I'm here to pay you because something went wrong, and blah, blah, blah. And so we're just here to see if we owe anything, and try to take care of everything the best we knew how. Had to rearrange a lot of things. So honestly, we were living on the whole check was going to all that overdrafted stuff that happened. So he was working every week just to cover everything that went wrong. And on top of that, we had to move out. So this girl gave us a place to stay rent free for a whole month. She gave us a whole month to stay there with not having to worry about nothing, so that we could be looking for another place to rent. And while we were stabilizing and didn't have the money, it got to where we could give her just a little bit because we had to have an extra month. So we was able to give her a little bit to stay there a little longer until we could get the deposit for the other place we were moving into. Then it got to where we could take care of ourselves better. But there was moments when we just felt like we wanted to give up. There was moments when I just couldn't figure out why I was here. The only time that I could seem to get comfort was when I went to see my grandmother in the nursing home and stuff. And she would have this way of, kind of giving me words of comfort, and I would just cry. There's times in our weaknesses that we're going to cry. My husband, he may be a man, but when you go through something, you're going to cry. You're not going to boo-hoo like I do sometimes. But he does have tears come to his eyes. Because you feel like you are doing all you can. And you just can't win for losing. Well, we've got a family member right now that's going through that. And I told him not to lose hope. Don't give up. Don't stop fighting, because it's right now when you're going to need God the most. And when I started this day, when I got up, it was a little bit harder to wake up. Sometimes physically, I do have issues with waking up. Really weak, really dizzy and tired. I don't have as many pass out spells, but I do still have them. Like at times when we have to stop off somewhere to get a bite to eat, Ray will want to go in and I won't really want to go in because I can't eat. And I'll just sit there and I'll try and I'll try and I'll try. And I don't like wasting money, and I end up bringing food home. I don't really like going to a restaurant. I just figure, you can always get it at the store cheaper. Now, I understand there's some things you can't get cheaper. And sometimes it's cheaper to go to a restaurant and get something off the dollar menu, or what I used to call the dollar menu. But it's just that I waste, and sometimes I feel bad because I do. But what goes on with me is I develop the nausea, and the food begins to make me gag, and I can't get it down. I can't force it. And so you're like, well, you look at you're very big. You must eat like a pig. I don't. I do have a lot of fluid though. And when I can get it down, there was this one occasion that my doctor upped my fluid pills to more than one a day. There was a big bad occasion where she had to give me 4, but she told me to split them up. But that's because of the desperation of trying to hurry and get the fluid out. Because of the sickness I was going through, it was dangerous. And so we couldn't do it forever because of the chronic kidney disease that happened after that allergic reaction in 2017 that damaged my kidneys, all the kidney failure. I've been through it. And so some days I'm like, man, I wish I could just do that. And Ray says, well, it wouldn't be safe. But if I could do that, I could get probably like 30, 40, 50 pounds of fluid off of me. I'm in a recliner right now, and I should have my feet propped up. I've got fluid in my ankle going on right now. But I wanted to make this video. My only problem is, it's hard to talk to people in person, but it's really hard to stare at your face in front of a cell phone and talk into it. And it's just hard for me to think. I can have something in my heart that I want to say, and it'll come out better in my heart than it would be out my mouth when I'm trying to make a video. And then I'll lose something or forget what I'm going to say and then realize it at the last minute. And, anyway, I hope this video, I hope I've done or said something to help you, because if you're going through sickness or you're going through a financial situation, you see we're still here. You know, we're still going for God. It's not easy, but we are. And you can too. I see your pain. You feel like you're being beat down. You feel like you're at the end of your rope. You just want to give up. I've been there. I've literally texted my pastor's wife and said, I just want to die. I want to go ahead and go home, be with Jesus. I've had those moments when I just, God, I want to go to sleep and go on and be with Jesus. But it's not our time. And so you just have to tell yourself, you're here for this time now, for such a time as this. You should be thankful that you're here. God has a perfect plan. He's not left you just because you feel like you're alone in your pain or your heartaches. You may feel like you've done something that makes you feel that you're not worthy to be a child of God. Or you like, well, why should I even get saved? I'm just going to go out there and do something, and then I'll have to repent again, and I don't want to use God that way. I've heard that. I've heard that before. Or you feel like something you've done in your past may make you unworthy to lay down your sins and get right with God, you know. The ABCs of salvation. Admit that you're a sinner. Believe that Jesus Christ, He came in human form. He gave His life and He rose again. And He took those stripes for our healing. And then confess. Confess. And He'll see you. He'll meet you right there. And I promise you'll feel it too. I can't run. So I always say the first thing I'd like to do when I get to heaven is run. That's not true. there's going to be so much to do when we get there. There'll be plenty of time to run. I used to run track, and then it got to where it was difficult. And I wasn't no big track runner or nothing like that. It was just something that I liked to do. When there was a certain school that had a little track field that when we weren't having like other games, I would go out there and we would run the track the whole time. And to not be able to run like I did or walk through a store without using one of those buggies. It took me a long time to accept that. Thanks to my pastor's wife. She's the first one that got me to get in it, and actually, it's been a long time back, but she was the one that finally got me to sit down and just learn to ride it, And then I had to teach Ray that when he got in a lot of pain, don't be afraid to get in it. Don't be ashamed. I mean, you'll get out there and you'll see people older than you walking, and you're like, man, I want to walk. I want to get out of this thing and walk. But, you couldn't hardly it's hard enough to get from here to my car or from the back of the church to the front. But I try to do what I can with what I have. You work with it. And so don't give up. Don't get discouraged. You may be going through a death in the family, or your children are lost, or your grandchildren are lost, or your aunts or your uncles, or people. You may have family or friends in the hospital, or you may have got bad news or a bad job report, or you lost your job, or you don't know where your next meal is going to come from. Just know that God will take care of you. Just believe. And that's the whole point of the devotion. Have faith. Just believe. I know you can't see it. The scripture about being blessed, those that have not seen the Lord. The disciples got to walk with him. But we still believe him. We still believe he exists, even though we've never physically seen him walk the earth with us. We still believe it. We know he's real. We can feel his presence. Yeah, even I can feel his presence. Even when I can't, when I'm in so much pain. Like there was this one occasion in the hospital when I just asked him to wrap his arms around me, and I could just feel it. I could really feel it when he did. I may not be able to see him physically wrap his arms around me, but I knew he was there, and I was not alone. I felt, empty when Ray wasn't there, and it was really difficult because I was so used to him being at the hospital with me the whole time I was there. But I understood what had to be done. Plus, you can get rest better when you're at home. Trust me, those hospital chairs, they're not comfortable. Pray for me that I'll be able to eat better, enough to cover my medications, because it does make me sick because I can't. The protein shakes are really what I'm supposed to be drinking to help. And then I have that albumin level thing that stays low, and I have to keep that up or I'll start leaking outside of my legs. All the fluid from the inside will come out. Yeah. But God, he's good. I'm asking you today to please. I don't know when Jesus is coming. I don't know the day. I don't know the hour, the moment, the second. And You may be there right now and say, well, I've got plenty of time. It don't work that way. You could go out your door and get in your car and wouldn't make it 5 miles down the road. You never know. And then sometimes you may not have that last breath to repent and call out to Jesus and receive him in your heart. Not everybody gets that opportunity to get their heart right with God, because sometimes you're die instantly. It's instantaneous, and then you didn't expect it. And then there's those that may have those moments where they can repent. God gives them that time to reflect, and they are able to change from their ways and call him to come into their heart. And I won't be satisfied if I can't do or say something to help lead a soul in. If I go to heaven today, or tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or next year, if I couldn't see one soul come through the gates, I can't be satisfied with that. I want to know that I helped somebody. Like I said, it's not easy to know what to say when you're staring at a cell phone and looking at yourself. But I'm doing the best that I can with what I have, and I just want to be used of God. I want to do something. Sometimes I'm like, what am I doing for you, God? What am I doing that's so special? Every time I sing a song or play a piano or pray, I'm doing something. Or making this video, I'm doing something. But sometimes I don't feel that way. And I do question it. I really do. God, what am I doing for you that's so special? Am I reaching anybody? Am I doing what you called me to do? Yeah, there's days that I'm not able to get behind the piano. And sometimes even when I do, sometimes I'm in a lot of pain, or something happens and I hit a wrong key. It's not something that I do on purpose. It's my struggles that I go through, and I have to fight with those struggles. But I do my best, I know that if I give my best, the Lord will help me. And then there's times I don't feel like singing, but sometimes I do. I'll know it, and Ray will know it too. And I'll be like, man, and I just want to do something. I hope that I've been able to encourage you in some way. I want to use the things that happened to me in my life. I'm hoping that if you see me here right now, even though I'm talking about it, and I talk about it for a reason, I tell you what I went through and how bad it was, in the hopes that maybe if you're going through something that bad, then, you'll fight too. Don't give up. I tell myself not to give up. And Ray didn't have to preach to me either. I told him, I said, no, the Lord reached me in the hospital, All that hurt and that pain and that non-understanding left me in that one moment when I asked the Lord to wrap his arms around me. I just needed him at that moment. And I just could not turn my back on him. He never failed me. Why do I want to fail him? Though we feel weak and lonely, just hold on to him. Though these trials get so heavy, just hold on till then. I just felt that. I felt that. Sometimes I'll sing to myself. Words will just come out and I'll just sing it. Sometimes it may come out in a whole verse. Sometimes it's just maybe just a couple of words. But something always jumps out at me. And so right now it's just hold on. I guess I'm nearing the end of the video. Every day is a gift. My being here today and alive is not a punishment. My being here today is a gift. I know what it's like to physically burn, your flesh burning from the blisters. I experienced it for 6 months. They're out there working on a vehicle and stuff, and so it's just kind of crazy but quiet in here right now. What else can I say? Have the burdens got you where you don't know if you can get through another second? Cry out to Jesus because He hears it. He knows your need even before you pray it. I miss my grandmothers. Both of them prayed for me. I look forward to meeting them again someday. But as far as the running, I want to run into the arms of Jesus first, and I don't want to let go. I would do whatever He wanted me to, and I would be able to do it because I'd have a new body. I just want to be a witness for Him, and I want to do what He wants me to. Me and my husband both want to do what He wants me to, and what He wants done for both of us. Use our weaknesses so that others can learn to be strong, I guess. Of course, in our weaknesses, He makes us strong. And every time we go through something, it only makes us stronger. Not weaker, stronger. Don't look at it in the physical. Look at it in the spiritual realm. He makes it, so that we have fought and we still believe. Look at us. I didn't let these burdens get me down. Yeah, they hurt. Scars. I've got scars on me on my skin now from past hospitalizations and things that have happened that never healed. And I carry those scars to remind me of who God is and how far I've come. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the Lord. And believe me, I've had some experiences while in the hospital, and I know He was there. My Aunt Darlene, she knows. She knows it's true. to experience heaven when you're near death's door and you have those moments when you're not really physically in the world, you're in the spirit realm, and you sort of see both worlds, and what you see others can't see. And I was dying, literally dying physically. I just did not realize the intensity of my situation, because they had to rush me to the burn unit. They had, that first time they had to rush me. I was in terrible kidney failure. The hospital tried to do everything they could, and that first trip to the burn unit was good. My husband was there, everything worked out, people took care of me. It was the second encounter that was bad. Things had changed a lot since that year, and everything was upside down. And so when I tell you that I know what it's like to burn, it's like my whole body was in an oven. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that was day in and day out for 6 months straight. My body had to heal. The sores had to go away. The blisters had to heal. And I would wake up the same way every day. And I would be like, when am I going to be normal again? When is normal coming back? And when is my body going to heal? And here I am. Get skin, of course. I have scars. I walk with a limp. God spoke of the limp. Not just the physical limp, but the spiritual limp. Using my circumstances to help somebody else. I don't mind this if God wants to use this situation of mine to help somebody else. People would ask me, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you burn like that? Enough to know that you don't want to go to hell. You know, hell's, trust me, it's going to be a lot hotter than a few blisters. And it was 95% of my body in and out. Whatever was happening to me on the outside was happening on the inside. I mean, you talk about blisters, blisters on the tongue, blisters in the throat, blisters around the kidneys and everything. It was burning me from inside out. Stevens-Johnson syndrome, a lot of people don't live through it. I have had a lot of time now to study it, and there's just a few of us survivors. And, you know, they told me that I have so many allergies now, and I could develop new allergies. Things change. There's certain powders I can't use, certain perfumes I can't use, certain lotions I can't use, detergents. If I get stung by a bee, a certain medication, you know. That's another thing. God didn't do it to you. God did not do this to me. You know, it's not something that got up one day just decided to put me through it, you know. He's helping me through it. He was there. He used this couple that would get online and minister and sing. I still watch them from time to time. They pastor a church now. Dusty and, well, I'm trying to get my head together. I would lay in the bed with blisters all over me and listen to them. Sometimes I think they would be like on there for 2 to 4 hours or something, and they would just be on there live and sing with soundtracks or piano or something. I just remember that I would have to go to sleep to that because I was in pain. I was laying under 2 comforters because I was freezing physically. Still don't have 100% temperature right. I can be cold when others are hot. When I go into a restaurant and I'm experiencing the dizziness, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to eat and can't, so they have to get my food and take it home, or if it's a buffet, I just have to forget about it. I've wasted it. I just get really dizzy, and the whole time I'm there, I just want to leave. I don't really want to get out. Just, if you're going to get something, go to drive-through, but sometimes he wants to get out. And I do my best. I really try. I don't know what causes the dizziness, the faint, passing out, whatever. I just know that there are occasions when I'm coming out of a restaurant, I'm wondering how I'm going to get from where I'm at to my car, and I get really, everything kind of gets dark on me, blurry, dark. I get this funny feeling, like tingly all over, that just everything just wants to shut down, and I'll barely get to my car, and I will literally have to get my focus back. Sometimes I can't get in the car right away. Sometimes I have to put my head down to get composure because of what's happening to me. There was an occasion when I had to be carried to the hospital because of it. So I know that it's not sugar related now, and I quit another medication. It helped some. But then I still go through those moments, especially going from my living room to the restroom. Again, I'm not telling you this to make you feel sorry for me. I in no way would want you to do that, because there's no reason. I mean, just pray for me, because I want to pray for you. I want you to leave your prayer requests with me, knowing that I will pray for you. You may not want to leave your name. Maybe you just want to leave your prayer need, or message me on Messenger and let me know what to pray for so that I can tell my husband. I've got a lot of time to spare, trust me. I read the prayer needs when I go on Facebook. Sometimes I just see what Ray sees, and he's up sometimes all night with it. When he goes to bed, he's on his phone, going through Facebook. That's his way. He likes to share things, the scriptures, and sometimes it'll get you blocked. Sometimes Facebook will really get you for sharing. They won't tell you why either. They won't even show you what you shared to tell you what you done wrong. There's just a lot of chaos, you might say. Fake news stuff, and they just let things go through that shouldn't, and get rid of the good things. Share scripture, don't get removed for some reason. That's the reason I don't go on my Facebook as much. And then there's some days I just don't feel like going on at all. Don't mean that I don't love y'all. Just because I don't make a video every day or every moment or share a devotional does not mean that I don't care. It's just like this moment. Today, this is what I felt like doing. I just wanted to come in here and talk to you as if you were sitting right here, right now in my living room talking to me. And by sharing the things that have happened to me in my life, it helps release it from me. And it may sound strange, but it's good to talk about it. It really is. It helps to talk about it. Sometimes I repeat myself. I'll say something that I've already said. And I just don't want to lose the focus on what God wants me to get out. And it's hard to think sometimes. I go through this brain fog. Like here right now, I'm just listening for God's voice, just listening for anything that He might have me to give you. Lord, just use this video to reach out, to touch someone. Use me, God. Use me to help someone else, to reach somebody, to be what I need to be. Lord, move over that person right now that's hurting, that feels like you have abandoned them and you haven't. Give them peace. Wrap your arms around them, Lord. Give them comfort and peace in you. Peace that only you can give to them. Touch that lost soul. Let them know that in here, they may feel like they're not worthy, but let them know that you love them, Lord. You love them, and that you desire for them to let you in their heart, no matter what they've done, no matter what they've said, no matter how they've lived, whether they're on drugs, whether they're on alcohol, or whether they're in that room committing fornication or idolatries and yes, Lord. Even the victims that are being trafficked. And it's not just children. It's a lot of children, but there are women too. It can happen male or female. While we are in the comforts of our homes, people are suffering that are a lot worse off than we are. So we have a lot to be thankful for. Yes, right now, while I'm sitting here talking to you, children are being raped all day long. If you've not had a chance to see The Sound of Freedom, see it. There's a lot of this is a sin-sick world, and they don't care how much the children are crying. They just know what they want, and that's why they're putting these crazy books in schools they shouldn't even be putting in there. It's because they're trying to turn the children into what they want so that the perverted people can sleep with the children. Brother Hank Kuhneman couldn't have said it better. He was preaching on that. They want to bring in these ugly, nasty, filthy books so they can teach the children to where they think it's not wrong, because they want to make it legal to sleep with your children and get away with it. And right now, in this world, yeah, there's a lot going on. A lot being allowed. When I used to hear that good would be turned and said it was evil, and evil would look good, or would be turned and make evil look good and all that kind of stuff, good would become evil, evil become good. I never thought that I would see this day and see how this two-tier type justice thing, like one person will do this and they'll get away with it and won't go to jail, and the other person they get put in jail over it. This is crazy. But God, just remember He's in control. He knows those children are suffering. It breaks Him. It breaks His heart. I know He's just waiting for that soul. I asked him why he wouldn't just go ahead and come and take the children. Take them down to heaven, get them away from all this trafficking. And then I said, why don't you return? Why don't you? And he speaks so clearly when he says, because I'm trying to save souls. He's waiting that 1 second, that one moment, that one day more. Because he loves you. He's waiting on you. He has not returned. God is waiting on you to give your heart to him. I don't know who the last soul's going to be. I don't know the last person that he'll be waiting on. The last call. But I do believe a call is going out through the Watchman. I'm amazed at the signs of the eclipse. I watch Brother Aaron Got a Minute and them and YouTube channels, and there's just so many people that I want to thank for being on YouTube and doing what you do to, break these things down in ways I couldn't break it down. Remember, he said that there would be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. The stress of nations were perplexed, the sea and waves were warring. He said in Matthew 24, these things would be cataclysmic, like a woman when she's in labor, and being in labor twice myself with 2 children. I remember how crazy and how intense the pain would get before the child was born. But I also remember that after the child's born, you'll forget all about it. You forget all that pain once they lay that baby into your arms. Now, I became a mother younger than I wanted to be. I was wishing that my children had been born in later years where I could have had a better future for them, I wanted to grow up some, and I didn't really, Loretta Lynn in the movie, where she's talking about growing up, Sissy Spacek played that character, whatever. I saw that years ago. She had hit bottom in that scene, and she just, one minute she was a kid, next minute she was an adult, and then she had kids, and then when she come to herself, oh, she's here. And here time has just flew by. Well, sometimes that's what it feels like. It really does. And I wish I would have had more time. Yes. Before my children, before I conceived and they were born. I wish I had been able to get a better way, and learn more. Because it was hard. And I didn't know I was going to go through. I was kind of like the woman with the issue of blood. I had to have a hysterectomy, partial hysterectomy, because it had gotten really bad on me. I had a wonderful sister-in-law, Donna, that came to stay with me a lot. When she wasn't with me, I was with her. My husband had to work, so I kind of relied on her to help me, I just felt like I could talk to her, like she could get me through a lot of things. And I was on a lot of meds because of the physical pain I went through with now I forget what they call it, but it happened. And the doctor that did the hysterectomy promised me she wouldn't let me go through too much more, because it had affected my life to the point that I was glad Donna was there to help me with my kids, to help me to focus when I couldn't focus. I'm thankful she was there. A lot of people don't know she was. She kept it private. Because had she not, everybody would have wanted her at their house. That was just how it was. Everybody wanted Donna to come visit. I wish I could go see her more than I do. I wish I could see my mom more than I do. Just getting on the road to go pay bills or get groceries, it's hard. So my daily routines are a little different. It's easier to be at home than it is on the road. It takes a lot out of a person sometimes when they are going through physical ailments, and their physical ailments make it hard for them to get out and enjoy life. I'd like to have a vacation, but I'm not financially able to do that. And if I did, my dog would have to go with me, and I couldn't leave her alone in the motel room. I'd be afraid somebody come in there to change the bed sheets or something, and it's just, if I had the money, I would really like to go somewhere for about a week or two, me and my husband and my dog, and just, I wish I had the money to do that. You know how you have this wish? Me and Ray never had a honeymoon. We never really did. When we got married, we didn't really get to have a honeymoon, so we really never had a vacation. We see people going on vacations. I like to go to Gatlinburg. I don't care if I have to stay in a motel all day and ride my scooter through the streets and not buy anything. It would probably be a lot more fun if I had money to do those things, not just pay a motel bill. But I've never even been to Gatlinburg. I may have rode through and didn't know it when I would go to doctors or hospitals, or been in the car, and went somewhere, and rode for a distance and may pass through it or almost pass through it. But I've never really been on a real vacation. So if anybody says they've had a birthday wish or a Christmas wish, of course, every time I say I like soundtracks, they end up coming in the mail to me. That happens at least once a year or 2 years. This box of soundtracks will come to me. I love soundtracks too, but I love to sing the soundtracks. So I don't mind them coming, but I really wish I had a vacation. Sometimes we just need to get away from the regular routine of life. And I really feel like me and Ray right now really need that, but we're not in the kind of a financial situation that we can't even raise that kind of money. So it's just not something that we can think about right now. Not that it won't ever happen. It'll happen probably. If not, then when the Lord comes back, we got heaven, I just keep my focus on the Lord, and vacation or no vacation, I do wish, though, that I could get away from the daily routines of life and just relax. Just pack my bags and go somewhere and just be away from here for a while. To get some time to think, away from everything. I always wonder what it's like when people go on their vacations. I like to look at their pictures. So maybe someday we'll get to have a vacation too. Right now my focus is praying that Ray gets approved for disability so that some of his medical can be took care of. I'm just not going to do no GoFundMes or nothing like that. I just don't really want to. It's not something that I'm interested in. I've got some watches that have bracelets and stuff with them that I'm not wearing, that I don't want them to go bad, so I may just sell them, help with the medical bills. I'll do that, but I won't sell them to take a vacation. I know I haven't posted anything online, and I can't stand Marketplace. Ray uses it, but I can't stand it because a lot of the people that are on there are fake. They're not real. And they will say they're going to come and say they're going to do something, but they're not real. And they'll say they're about at your house and they never show. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're not really there. And their Facebook isn't even real. It's like it don't exist anymore. They're gone. So it's been happening a lot, I guess, since people have been coming through the border and stuff, I guess. everything just got crazy. So if I even did post anything, I would probably have to post it on a Facebook post or something. Maybe just let Ray take care of it. He's the only one that knows really how to price something. I'm not very good with prices. My jewelry, I can't afford no high price stuff. So it's not no high price stuff. But sometimes I get stuff and I don't wear it. And, sometimes I don't even open it and use it. Just sell it. I now got some earrings on his page that I don't wear earrings. I don't even have pierced ears. So he said he was going to try to sell them for $10. Because it's a bunch. It's like a box of a lot of earrings, and more than 10 in there, trust me. There's a bunch. And we just didn't want to ask too much for them. I mean, we could have probably got more out of them if we wanted to, I guess, but that's just not how we work. We just want to sell things to help financially to pay some medical bills. Like I said, I've got one that we really need to pay. It's $100 and something. And then we got like one that's $70, and then they said it's time for him to fill another medication again. And then I just filled a medication myself that Medicaid didn't cover on me, and Medicaid don't always cover all my meds. There's so many. I hate medicine. If I had my way, it'd be in the garbage. But Ray said, you've got to trust God God sends doctors, to help us. And I'll be so glad. I sit here and I can't stand taking medication. It makes me sick just to try to take it. But I say that because I know you're there, and some of you out there take a bag of pills, just like I do, and you probably get so tired of it. Or you may be hungry and you can't eat, maybe going through what I go through. I'm hoping that maybe what I go through will help you. I say that a lot, and I mean what I say. Because I'm hoping if you see me here talking now that maybe you'll see some kind of faith or a light or something that will give you some kind of strength to know that God is with you, because He's been with me for a really long time. Even as a child. It was a long time I didn't get to see my mom. But I would dream about her. And I would dream about what life would have been like with her if I had more time with her. And then she found me, My papa moved a lot. Found out later he moved me a lot to keep me away because he was afraid that she would come pick me up, and he had custody. So he really didn't want me being around my mom and him. He didn't really want me to. He was afraid she wouldn't bring me back. Mama told me this years later. So he would hide me. He would constantly move me from place to place. So I know that they're out there and they may be coming in soon. So I just want to finish off this video. And I hope it's been a blessing. I know I've been talking and yapping for the longest time now. But like I said, I just wanted some company and wanted to be company for you, and just wanted to talk to you as if you were here in the living room. I didn't want to just minister to you. I didn't want to just be a blessing testimony. I wanted just to feel like you were here with me and that I could just release a few things in my life, hoping that maybe that will help you. Pray for us as we pray for you. And again, please leave your prayer requests. If you want to email them or whatever you want to do. I do have a Cash App and a PayPal thing that I have. If I just don't really use it a lot. But if you want to help the ministry, you can. It's not something that we ask for. I mean, you can. Just let me know. Let me know if you do. I had just much rather pray for people and trust God with things than than just get out here and say, woe is me all the time. Anyway, it's been good talking with you. Thank you for being here in my home with me today and for taking it all in and just listening to what I have to say. And thank you for all the prayers that come out for me and my husband all the time, and our families and our friends, our loved ones, that we feel the love that you give us. And that love overrides the evil where Satan tries to come against us. You know, he'll use family to do that too. But you have to learn to forgive. You have to learn to, you may not can be around the ones that try to do harm to you and hurt you, or, you know, but you still need to forgive and pray for them, that God will reach them before it's too late. And that's what we do. We don't want nobody to go to hell. So if there's anything that I've done or said that can help keep a soul out of hell, then it's worth me still being here. It's worth everything that I've gone through. I've experienced burn. And hell is a whole lot hotter than that, and it's eternal. So I'm telling you, I don't want to go there, and I don't want you to go there either. So please, before it's too late, give your heart to Jesus. Turn everything over to Him. Let Him have it. Let Him have all your baggage. Don't hang on to it. When you go through the doors of that church and you take something to the altar that's burdened, don't carry it back out the door with you. Because it's just going to get heavier and heavier until it breaks you, until it crushes you. Without Jesus, it'll be the emptiest place. It'll be dark. But if you have Jesus, even in the darkest of times, it won't be as dark as it could be without Him. You have that hope in Jesus if you are a child of God. You have the hope and the belief, and you know that in the future you're going to be with Him. He didn't have to die for us on that cross. He didn't have to go to heaven and build us a mansion and give us a place. He didn't have to offer heaven for us. But He did, and I'm really looking forward to that. Each and every day, we're one step closer to that trumpet sounding. I mean, it could happen at any moment. I mean, it could happen while we're in church or making a video. I saw this video called Sunday Morning Rapture. Yeah, what if it wasn't a Sunday morning? What would you be doing on a Sunday morning? Would you be in church worshiping God? Or would you be there just because it's just you just got to, you think? You know, you just force yourself to go. Because you think if you go, then your mama can get you to heaven, your daddy can get you to heaven. It don't work that way. If you don't go with anticipation to worship God and to get something out of it, and your heart's not ready, then... But if you're a child of God, then going to church is a whole lot better than staying at home. I mean, it seems like the whole world has gone COVID crazy and nobody wants to go to church anymore. And when I'm not able to go to church, and that's very not too often, but when I'm not able to go, it's not the same. If I wanted to watch a video on TV, it's just not the same as being there. It may not seem like I'm paying attention because I get my head down looking at the Bible, or I see something that jumps out at me and I start showing it to Ray. And then I'll take a note and I'll type it in the phone. So I'm not texting, I'm typing. Nobody ever asked me that, but still, I'll have something come to my mind and I'll take a note it'll be a note thing that you put in. You bookmark it, and then you take a note on it, and you write it down, text it, to clip it on your notepad and save it. Thank you for being a light to us. Listening to this old crazy girl. Now, I know I'm not crazy. I know that. It's hard to get my words out on video. It takes me this long just to make it and to end it. I don't want to stop the video. I'm enjoying my time with you. There's not a lot of times that I smile. But I smile because you're here and you're listening, and God is faithful and true. It'll be worth it after all, child. It'll be worth it after all. After all of this climbing, you'll hear Jesus call. I don't know how it goes. It'll be worth it after all, child. It'll be worth it after all. Just keep holding on. We're almost at the finish line. We're going to make it. We are going to make it. And it's going to be worth it, everything. It's going to be worth it. The journey is about to end, and our future is about to begin. Heaven. To be with Jesus. And yes, the loved ones that made it. Thank God we're not going to remember the ones that didn't. It wouldn't be heaven if we did. I don't want nobody to go to hell. But I know that there are people dying lost without him, and so it happens. But I'm still praying. Love you all. Kisses, hugs. Keep the faith. Don't lose heart. God loves you. And like my husband always says, he wants to see the best in your life. And we have this phrase. We will leave our light on for you. If you have a need, leave it here in the comment section. Or if you don't want to leave it in the comment section, share the video with anybody that has a need. Join the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell if there's one on there. I hear people say that a lot. That way you'll know if I do make another video. I'll also share this on our End Time Harvest Ministry group. I misspelled the ministry word. I just noticed that recently, but I'm not going to change it. It made it easier for Ray to find it, so leave it the way it is. And join the group. Join the YouTube group. You just leave your prayer requests with us so that we can pray for you. It's been a good day. I've really enjoyed your company. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being so patient. I could never sit here and listen to this video this long. I don't even listen to myself. When I'm done, Ray will go in there and he'll cut me on, be listening. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything that's said. I just do the video, put it in where I'm supposed to put it, and let God use it for whatever purpose he wants to use it for. And today, he just wanted you to have faith, and he wants me to have faith. He don't want us to give up, and he just wanted to get that word out, and I just figured that I would share my devotion time with you. and welcome you into my home and be company, and you be company for me. You may not be here in person, but I can sense your presence. I know you're watching. We love you. Thank you. Thank you for everything. I've got to stop this video now. I don't want to, but I got to. I'll try to sing some songs sometimes if I can. I'm not going to promise when. There's some that I'm still practicing. I think that's everything. Sometimes I just sit here and I think, like, Lord, is there anything else you want me to say? Or I don't want to miss anything. So I just take that extra moment to make sure that God is through using me. That God, that there's not something else He wants me to do or say while I'm on here. Trust and obey. That's what I hear right now. Trust and obey. Leave your prayer requests. If you don't want them to be made public, just send them to my messenger. Email them, whatever. We'll pray over them. I may make another prayer box, and start putting things in it because there's so many needs. I saw online something about praying for Brother Chris. I don't know what that was about, but we're praying. Just want him to know that we are praying. There was others. I can't think of them all. God knows the needs. God knows who needs help. And even if I can't remember the names, He does. Pray for my sister-in-law. Pray for my grandchildren, my children, my other sister-in-law going through some back pain. There's a lot. There's a lot of people need prayer. A lot going on right now. If I've missed anybody, please forgive me. I'm doing the best I can. God bless you. And when you get off of this video with me, go have a fun day with the Lord. Don't go reach somebody, pay it forward. What God has done for you, go do somebody else. Do something for somebody else in need, even if it's just a prayer or a hug. Love you all. Go with God. And have a good rest of the day.